Tony, it's that moment of the week when we engage in our own little bit of political parody here on Coalition Talk Radio. And we are, of course, talking about the Gina Raimondo Political Hall of Shame. Sponsored by the fine folks at iServices LLC. And yes, Tony spilled the beans on me. Our new entry into the Rhode Island Political Hall of Shame is none other than an entire organization. And we're talking about RIPTA. Now, for folks who might listen to this at some point, somewhere in the future, and they're not from Rhode Island, of course I'm talking about the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority. Spelled RIPTA, pronounced RIPTA. Now, do we hate RIPTA? No. Do we hate Mayor Grebian? We find him misguided, but no. Do we hate Mayor McCheese, the latest mayor from Cumberland, Mayor Bill Murray? No. But let's point out the facts. First of all, the notion that we named it after Gina Raimondo. Tone deaf? Oblivious to the needs of her constituents? Self-dealing? Self-aggrandizing? Yes, she is. Remember, this is the governor who took a political campaign from the CEO of an energy company who is attempting to build a multi-billion-dollar environmental time bomb in one of the most pristine parts of Rhode Island over the overwhelming objection of just about everyone who is a sentient human being. The only people who ostensibly support it are those folks who are involved in its manufacture, production, development. Ostensibly those folks who could profit from it. Now, profiting from this in a legal manner is not a bad thing, but it displays a level of self-interest that our governor is famous for. This is a governor who could stare you right in the eyes and tell you up is down and down is up. We don't hate it for her, but we are going to continue to point out. So why is RIPTA in the Political Hall of Shame? In the past week or so, they've announced that they're going to provide free mass transportation to the Pawtucket Red Sox games. I believe a total of 12 games. Now, what could be more American than that? Why do we take offense at that? Well, it's very simple. We take offense at it because, well, just like the Newport Ferry, and just like the train ride that's being promoted from Wickford to the stadium in some manner or form, they're using your money to do it. Now, how are they using your money? I revealed this. If you go to coalitionradio.us, go to the blog, click on the blog, or go to the Coalition Facebook page, there's an in-depth discussion how money taken from the Clean Air Act, monies that were specifically generated at a federal level to find ways to affect more effective mass transportation, traffic calming techniques, enhanced utilization of mass transportation, money specifically, and here's the irony, of course, empowered by the Highway Trust Fund, that exists to make our lives better. Somehow the notion that taking a handful of people off the road and getting them to the Pawtucket Red Sox game qualifies for that. And what's the classic coalition response? Balderdash. The money involved, and I've asked for an accounting of the money, I've yet to receive it. Those things take time. Legally, I have to wait 10 days, or up to 10 business days, whether it be a case of the information I've requested from the city of Pawtucket, which I'll get, or whether it be, in this case, the amount of money budgeted for this process. But the money in the larger sense is irrelevant. What's relevant is quite a few issues. First of all, this is a state that's ostensibly so broke that we dismantled the free ride program to take the frailest, the infirm, the poorest among us, and give them an opportunity to use mass transportation to, whether it be go to needed social services, medical services, or in many cases simply get a meal We took that apart because we couldn't afford it. And when people literally begged for the governor to display some sense of creativity to find a way to make this work, despite being confronted with incontrovertible evidence that people who were most affected by that were in effect already displaying within 30 days of the dismantling of said fund the initial signs of malnutrition. Now remember, we're talking about Providence, Rhode Island in the year 2017. Despite all of that, nothing could be done. Nothing. Yet given the opportunity, once again, to figure out a way to feather the nest of billionaires, and of course I'm talking about the ownership team of the Pawtucket Red Sox, who seem tireless in their pursuit of other people's money, they were able to find the money to get people to a freaking baseball game. Now, I'm a baseball fan. I love baseball. But is it appropriate at any level to take money, as libertarian, as we like to point out, to take money by force from you, from me, with the excuse that we're going to use it to benefit the environment, and then take that money and effectively, once again, subsidize the operations of a private enterprise? You know, there's a lot of very unpleasant terms used to describe people who receive public assistance. I will not employ any of them, but I think you've heard them. And if there is truly an example of that here in Rhode Island, it is not people who are down on their luck, people who are suffering from a variety of physical and mental illnesses. It's not those people. It's not people who have lived through a cycle of poverty that is reinforced by an inadequate, broken educational system. It's not them. I won't use any of those terms to them. Because quite frankly, there's a nobility to many of those people's lives as they struggle against all of life's challenges that will never be displayed by the type of people who own the Pawtucket Red Sox, who are seemingly indefatigable in trying to find ways to get your money. Despite, in many cases, this was their hard work, but despite being the beneficiaries of a wonderful country, of a capitalistic system that has treated them very, very well, again, with a lot of their own hard work. I won't deny them that. I won't deny, nor will I resent their successes. But the notion that this sense of entitlement exists, that even on the smallest level, they are incapable of supporting their own enterprise that they bought, is revolting. It's an obscenity. At what point in time does Mr. Lucchino and his crew actually come out and provide some level of justification for their behavior? And when will you, as a Rhode Islander or as an American, call them out on it? When I explain this sort of convoluted logic to a number of environmentalists this afternoon, you could tell, based on the silence, that they were, as the vernacular goes, literally throwing up in their Wheaties. This insane pursuit of other people's money, of subsidies, of guarantees, of the credits, that has taken over this state in the past 2 years is the ultimate obscenity. At what point in time does this mad chase to provide welfare for these well-endowed organizations. Stop. And shame on RIPTA for engaging in this type of behavior. RIPTA as an organization is virtually completely broken at every level. There have been a number of tragedies in the last year. They seem incapable of consistently delivering a transportation service despite all sorts of subsidies, to all of a sudden have this newfound efficiency when it comes to supporting a politically connected private enterprise. Where do they get off? And when does it stop? So yes, RIPTA is our latest inductee into the Gina Raimondo Hall of Shame. A quick note about our sponsor, iServices LLC. You'll find their link right on our website at coalitionradio.us. They are Rhode Island's leading provider of internet services, server management, website design, virus detection, email services, SEO marketing. They are the place to go. And also my hat's off for them for supporting independent media. Because Frank and the folks down there obviously care on multiple levels. Their involvement just doesn't stop at supporting our program, but Frank and his group are involved intimately in state politics because of a desire to make Rhode Island a better place. iServices LLC, and of course, my new special friends at RIPTA. Go to coalitionradio.us. On our blog page, you'll find an analysis of the laws, the history, exactly how we get to point A to B, so that we can twist the Clean Air Act into a source of private support for the politically connected. And yet another example of the Highway Trust Fund doing everything spectacularly well except supporting our highways.